Well, howdy there, Internet students. Mr. Hermanson again. Today we're going to get to the type of problem that you will not be able to solve if you don't know how to use the balancing method. Um, once you get it to a certain point, then you can just backtrack or do however you like to solve it. But there's a certain thing about these new equations today that will make it so you can't use backtracking. All right. So to help illustrate that, you are going to be moving out from your house someday, and you're going to have to make some choices. Now, you have this narrowed down where you want to live between these two apartments. Okay. One of the apartments, apartment A, that's this beautiful apartment here. They will charge you $1,000 security deposit and $1,200 a month. Okay. Apartment B, and by the way, sometimes you get your security deposit back, but usually you don't because there's like stains they need to fix, carpeting that you wreck, holes in the wall, that kind of stuff, depending on how much of an animal you are. Apartment B has $1,500 security deposit. I'll make that red. And costs $1,175 per month. So right away you should see that it costs you a little bit less in apartment B per month, but a little more in security deposit. Apartment A costs you a little bit less in security deposit and a little bit more each month. So it kind of depends on how long a lease you have to sign, how long you're going to stay there. If you're only going to stay there a short amount of time, then you probably want the smaller security deposit and paying a little more each month. But if you're going to stay there for a long time, then you probably want to pay a little bit less per month because eventually the extra cost of the security deposit will be outweighed by that. So we're going to write two equations. Apartment A, it's $1,000 plus $1,200 times the number of months. I'm just going to use X for months if you don't mind. So actually the cost is Y for apartment A. Apartment B is going to cost you $1,500 plus $1,175 per month. All right. Now, if I want to know, what I want to know is how many months it'll take to break even here. Because then I can decide if I'm going to stay less than that number of months, I want to go with the cheaper security deposit. And if I'm going to go more than that number of months, then I want to go with the cheaper monthly rent. So I'm going to make this equation to figure out when these costs are the same. I'm going to do 1,000 plus 1,200x and just set that equal to 1,500 plus 1,175x. Okay, now here's the problem for your normal problem solving. The problem is you have an x here and an x here, and you just have to solve for one x. So what I need to do is figure out a way to turn both those x's into one. Okay, and I can use the balancing method to do that. What I can do is I can just, oh, that was fun. I can just subtract it away, the x away from one side. And what I mean by that is, mathematically speaking, if I were to subtract 1,175x, so those are like terms, I actually get 0x, which is 0. And then the only thing left on this side is 1,500, which is really cool. Now, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other, and you can only subtract 1,175x from another term with an x. You can't subtract it from the 1,000 because then it wouldn't be a like term. So now on this side, I still have my 1,000, but I have 1,200 minus 1,175x, which is 25x. And if you think about that, that's the difference in the rent. So you're paying $25 more in rent in one apartment than the other. Okay, now the rest of it is just solving the way you always solve it, because now we have x on one side, and so we can just do take away 1,000 here. Remember, we're trying to get x all by itself. In the end, whatever you do to one side, do to the other. That gives me 500. And actually, this 500 is the security deposit difference. Okay, so this might make sense to you now that if we're paying an extra $25 a month, how many months will it take to make up that extra for the security deposit? Okay, but the last step would just be to divide away this 25, because 25 divided by 25 is 1x, which is what we want, and 500 divided by 25 is like 20, I think. So if you're going to stay 20 months, it'll cost you the same no matter which one you go to. If you're going to stay more than 20 months, you want to go with the lower rent, because then you start make money on the rent. If you're going to stay less than 20 months, you want to go with the lower security deposit. All right. So, but the important part of the lesson there was, how do you get rid of the x from one side? And basically, you add or subtract it away. All right. So we're going to try a few problems like that. You are going to go to this page here. I believe we did all those on the top there, but all of these have x's on both sides. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you decide to subtract away. I just do it a certain way all the time. I always get rid of the one that's smaller, because then when I subtract, I end up with a positive coefficient, which then I don't have to worry about negatives when I'm dividing. And so I'll give you the first step here, and then I'll let you take it from there. So what I would do on this one is I would subtract 6x from both sides on this one. So I would do minus 6x here, and whatever you have to do to one side, you got to do to the other. So the x would disappear from the left side on that one. Okay, on this one I would subtract 5m. And the reason I'm doing this is because then I'm doing 7 minus 5, which is a positive number. If I would do 5 minus 7, then I'd end up with a negative coefficient, and sometimes I make mistakes when I'm using negative numbers. On this one, I would actually add 3m, because when I add 3m to 4m, I'm going to get a positive 7m. And on this side, I would get 0. I'll finish up this one, and then I'll let you guys go and do the other two. But 49 minus 3m plus 3m is just 49. So it's gone. No more m on that side. And on this side, I have 7m plus 14. At this point, I don't have any problem with you backtracking, because it would be a little quicker than showing all this work. But if you like showing the work like this, I'm going to take away the 14. That's going to give me 35 on that side, 7m on this side. Remember, our goal is to get m by itself. We're going to divide by 7, and we find out that m is equal to 5. Now, when you check this, you actually have to check two sides here. You have to do 49 minus 3 times 5 on this side. I'm just going to put times 5 there because my answer is 5. And then over here, we have to do 4 times 5 plus 14. So on this side, 49 minus 15 is 34. And 4 times 5 is 20, plus 14 is also 34. So we end up with the same on both sides, so it is correct. Go ahead and do those other two, and then you can check back and see if you did them right. All right, here's what I got on that. Sometimes you have to simplify an equation first before you start working on it. And in other words, you need to clear the parentheses. When you're working with linear equations, you should have no more than 2 terms on each side when the equation is completely simplified. Notice here you have 2 terms on this side, 2 terms on this side. If you have more than 2 terms on one side, then there's something you can simplify. So I'll let you do A. I'll do B with you first. Show you what I would do. But first I would clear the parentheses. So I would do negative 3 times x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, plus 2. If I were you, I would show all the work you can. We have to distribute this negative. Remember, there's an invisible negative 1 in there. So that's going to be negative 1x. And then negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Notice I still have 3 terms on both sides, so that means I can simplify more. 12 plus 2 is 14. 7 minus 1 is 6. Now I have to clear the x from one side. I'm going to do that by, let's see, I want to have a positive coefficient, so I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So I'll put my line in here now, plus 3x. So now I get 6 plus 2x on this side. And on this side, negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so that's down to 14. I need to clear the, I need x all by itself, right? So I need to get rid of this 6 here. 14 minus 6 is 8. And then just divide by 2 to get 1x. So my answer is 4. All right, go ahead, you try this one. I'll show you my work. Clear the parentheses first and then balance it to get the z gone from one side. All right, here's what I got. I'm going to assume you got that. If you didn't, just look back at my work and see if you could find your mistake. All right, let's do one more together. Okay, remember, I'll do number 5, and then you can do number 6. But here's the deal: you're going to do, you're not going to do 7 plus 2 first. Remember, you can't do that. You have to multiply first. Clear the parentheses first. So you're going to do 2y, 2 times y, and then 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. All right, and now I'm going to combine like terms. 7 minus 6 is 1. So I now have 2y plus 1 and 6y plus 3. Now I need to subtract 2y from both sides. I'm just choosing to do that because I know that 6 minus 2 would be a positive 4y. Then I need to subtract 3. And careful on this, a lot of students will make a mistake here. I need to divide by 4 to get 1y. And negative 2 divided by 4 is actually negative 1/2, or negative 0.5. A lot of students would think that's negative 2, but then they're dividing backwards. All right, you go ahead and try number 6. See if you can get the right answer there. Make sure you distribute negative 6 here. All right, on that last one, I didn't draw the line in there just because I don't think you need to draw the line once you understand that where the equal sign is, and whatever you do to one side, you need to do to the other side of the equal. But notice we didn't get a nice whole number on that one, which that's the way it goes in real life. Usually you don't get a whole number. It's just that we try to make equations where they come out to a whole number just so you can see if you're doing it right. All right, so I think that's all I'm going to go over now, and you guys are going to start here at the bottom of page 18 and do page 18 and 19, okay? And use the balancing method as much as you need to get the answers. Other than that, we will talk to you in class soon. Have a good day.